If I were Igor Tudor, I would spend the whole night not only unable to sleep, but trying to figure out what is going on, because we're dealing with a situation for a psychologist, a team that has no sense of purpose. Now we can discuss the arguments that clearly have us taking sides. This one's a good signing, that one's not good enough, they shouldn't have brought him in, but you can't reduce Juve to its bare minimum like that. All the players who are said to have become bad at Juve, everyone suddenly becomes bad. So the deserved defeat at Lazio's home is the result of improvisation, of an idol that probably never existed, and of a coach who today made some truly terrible choices. He kept changing the lineup like you often see in regional leagues, putting in strikers. He started with David and Vlahovic. I had made a video for you at lunchtime explaining what, in my opinion, made the miracle happen. By playing two strikers, because David, when he's next to another striker, is a different David. Without a main striker, something else has to work. Everything else. Right now, David isn't mentally present. The tribute during the first goal is the snapshot of the match. Choices that kept changing all the time. But then what did he do? And Tudor tried to change things, putting in a hybrid and making the situation worse, increasing the confusion. First, he took off Cambiaso to put in Ildiz, who was supposed to rest. Then he calls him back. In case of emergency, you played with Concesa covering the whole flank. Then you took off David, then you put in Penda, then you put in Kostic, then you took off Cambiaso, and before that you took off the other one. Guys, what is this? But this isn't something feasible or acceptable in any kind of league. It's just not acceptable. All the more so if you're Juve. So I warned you in the first days of October. If it keeps going like this, with this kind of confusion, they'll make him pay for it. And now there are these three matches, I think, close together. And while Juve wouldn't want to make changes in order to have their hands free from a certain point of view, if the results keep being like this, we're talking about the third consecutive defeat if we include the Champions League, Real Madrid and Lazio. Juve, who haven't scored for 4 matches in a row, that is, they haven't scored since the draw in Spain against Villarreal. That's something that doesn't exist in the vocabulary of any transfer campaign you might consider to be a failure. Because you score, even if your striker was brought in from Serie B, so it means this is a team that's now disconnected and probably doesn't believe anymore. By the way, in one moment I saw Tudor giving advice to Cambiaso, and Cambiaso was looking the other way. It seems to me like a team that's come apart, with everyone going in a different direction. Clearly, they don't have any trust in the coach. I'm recording this video right after the match, but this isn't just Juve as we might expect. This is a jumble of improvisation, a team of ghosts. It's a team that hasn't had a purpose from the very beginning. In the end, with the coach's substitutions, the team ends up in a dead end of confusion that's only getting worse. And those at the top remain motionless. Even though the executives here change every 10 minutes, they should take note of this and make some decisions. Setting deadlines that have already expired, the game is over. Not the one in Rome against Lazio, but the game of improvisation, of protecting, of listening. The coach talks about the schedule, but when you see this mess on the field, a team that tactically has no purpose. It's pointless to talk about the transfer market, I repeat, because if a team is well built and coached, or not built at all, let's say you don't like anyone. You don't like David, sure, he's not a striker for Juventus, but neither was the previous one, whom you also didn't like. Openda, you don't like him either, or anyone else for that matter. But there needs to be a coach who, even if he only has 4 players who just made it from Serie B, gives me a game concept, an idea, doesn't change everything in 5 minutes, doesn't turn Juve into just any small team, a parish team, with all due respect to parish teams. So the crisis is ongoing, but not because of the result, because even if they had managed to draw at the end, my opinion wouldn't have changed much. A draw would have changed things by 0.0, meaning I would have stuck to my absolutely clear position. This is a team in disarray with no purpose, a management that intervenes in its own way, a Juve that is no longer Juve. And then tomorrow I want to make a video explaining, from my point of view, how it's possible to think that certain signings, not just recent ones, but from before, like spending 40 million on Locatelli, makes sense. But who put that kind of money in? Entrusting Juve's midfield to Locatelli means stepping into a waltz of mediocrity. On the other hand, Lazio played with heart, as they should. They've really given Maurizio Sarri a hard time from every angle, and maybe they haven't even shown him a bit of respect. I'm speaking in general. Rome is a complicated place from a media perspective because there are factions. They haven't understood that this year's Lazio is in a state of total emergency. is that 1 point is worth 5, and these 3 points are worth 12 because they're 3 points born out of humility from a team that had many players with limited minutes, from Basic, who scored a great goal. And he deserves it, Basic. Because from this point of view, he went through the worst moment a footballer can experience, being left off the squad list and then suddenly called back. The Saxons played an incredible match, especially in terms of the sacrifice the whole team showed, the Saxons, Zaccagni, and even those who served the team. The midfield fought hard, and the defense kept a clean sheet against an attack that cost hundreds of millions. And I think this is a great testament to Maurizio Sarri. I hope they leave him alone. He chose to take on this challenge. He also had to put up with things that, honestly, I wouldn't have tolerated. I don't know how he managed to endure them. For Lazio, this is a pivotal victory, a turning point. It's a win that matters, that helps tidy up the standings a bit, even though this will still be a tough season. It brings some consistency to the results because when you get everyone back and everyone has enough playing time, then you can start thinking about doing something different. And I think that instead of getting behind the microphone and always criticizing with the usual issues that have plagued the Lazio world, people should apologize. Because unfortunately, that's how it's always been, with great participation from the fans and with a performance that I believe truly embodied the symbiosis between the people, the team, and the coach. And so it's an important night that will remain etched in memory, even though the games will continue for a while. But Juve is out of their minds, haunted by ghosts, fantomas, a team without a reason, without a backbone. This is a topic that will need to be explored further. I'll take the last minute and a half, to talk about the referee, because there are those who have to send the referee out as a scapegoat. Colombo is the best of them all. Colombo is the new face on the rise. Follow Colombo as if we were witnessing a new Lo Bello or the new Casarin. Hats off to these legendary refereeing masters. But as I've always said, things were better when we thought they were worse. Colombo does things that honestly a normal referee couldn't do. I mean, he distorts the match and then he tries to make up for it. I've watched the footage 30 times, regardless of what the judgments were. And with all due respect to the refereeing experts, he gives McKennie a second yellow card, even without awarding the free kick to Lazio. And just a few plays later, in my opinion, there's a stamp in the box by Gila on Conceição. And again, it's unclear what the criteria are. There is no criteria. VAR is there or not, depending on whether it's an odd or even day. Don't talk to me about Colombo as the next big thing, because there's nothing new or promising here. Colombo 2-0. You can't interpret a match like this, tainting it with 2 mistakes just because you try to make up for a previous error by making another one. Then, if some of you think the booking wasn't deserved, the second yellow for McKennie, so a sending off, or that there wasn't a stamp in the box by Gila, then maybe tomorrow I'll go to the optician myself and get a new pair of glasses, and above all, get my nearsightedness checked. It's a tough night. From every point of view, both for Juve and for Lazio, heavy in various ways. It has both colors and darkness. Heavy because you go out on the field, and because, watch out, the break is about to come, and the hourglass tutor, you need to know you don't have the exclusive on all these things. So you can't just stand still and get moving, because that's just a saying. He should explain what kind of match he prepared for tonight and how he tried to fix it within a confusion that has few precedents since Juve has been on the field in its history. Thank you for your attention. I look forward to your feedback. Talk to you soon. Bye.